To solve this equation, I must have a common denominator in order to remove all the fractions. If you want to remove all the fractions in one step, and that's actually the easiest way to solve it, is to get rid of the fractions from the beginning. So I must have a common denominator in both sides, which is 12. We did this before, the least common multiple, if you remember, okay, by factoring, because if you just think about this 6, if you write this 6 as 2 times 3, right, what is this? This is actually 2 times 3, right? Anyway, it's a long story, but if you know the least common multiple is 12, you can just write that you need 2 here, for example. You just multiply here by 2, up and down. You need to multiply here by 3, up and down. And you need to multiply here by also 3. Don't forget by the whole numerator, which is a bracket in this case. So this way, the denominator here is 12, it's here 12, it's here 12. We did this before, how to find least common multiple of 4 and 6.
I cannot multiply the 4 by 6 and the 6 by 4.
If you do that, the problem will become bigger, the numbers will be bigger. If you multiply 6 times 4, okay, and 4 times 6, you have 24, then the numbers will be, you can still solve it in this case, but generally this becomes harder. That's why we studied the least common multiple. Go back to the lesson of the least common multiple and see why we choose 12. That's why we learned the least common multiple, to help us here find this problem, solve this problem faster and easier. Okay? Once you study the least common multiple very well, please come back here and solve this question. Okay, it's very important to learn how to do this properly. In this example, you can, 24, but other examples, you will not be able to. So sometimes, the simple idea of having any common denominator work, sometimes it doesn't work. You have to have the least common denominator. So you have to learn how to get the least common multiple to solve questions like this. And there are many questions like this. In the final exam last year, there was like 3 questions like this. You cannot afford to leave 3 questions that can worth 6 marks, for example. You cannot. You have to learn how to do this properly. So anyway, once you do that, it becomes very easy. I can just cross out all these fractions. You know why? Because I can basically multiply the 2 sides by 12. If you multiply this side by 12, suppose you're multiplying by 12 here. Okay, suppose you have a 12 here multiplied by this website. This 12 will cancel the 12 down. Okay? The same thing if you multiply this sides by 12. So suppose you multiply this sides by 12, but you have to multiply both sides, right? You have to multiply both sides. Let's just make it a bit smaller. Then also this 12 will be distributed here, and when it comes here, it will cancel the 12 down, and it will cancel the 12 down here. Okay? I don't have to show you all these details. I just want to tell you where it comes from. But the idea is, all what you have to do, once you have a common denominator in both sides, right and left, you just remove it. Just remove it. Okay? Don't worry about the steps. Just once you have a common denominator here and here, just remove it. So what remains after that, it will become 2x plus 9 equal to 3 multiplied by x minus 1, which will be 3x minus 3. Very simple equation that remain after that. You learn this technique, the equation becomes very easy after that. Yes? Any question?
So we can't do more.
Yeah, we have to continue. Now we bring the x's together and the numbers together, so we have to bring the x's maybe this side and the numbers maybe this side, so it will be 2x minus 3x, and this will be minus 3 minus 9. Okay, because the terms change sign when they move. And now this is minus x on the left and minus 12 on the right. And that means if you divide both by minus 1, then you will get the value of x equal to 12. Okay? So that's how I solve linear equation, but with fractions. Okay? And here, remember, the least common denominator is 12, and that's important to learn how to do that, how to find it and how to multiply both sides or how to have a common denominator both sides to remove it. Okay?